Never give people more access to you than they have earned. Most people never learn this, and that's exactly why they end up drained, angry, confused, and wondering why life feels heavier than it should. But here's the part no one warns you about. Most of the pain you carry doesn't come from stress. It comes from a lack of boundaries. And if you don't fix that, life will keep taking from you until there's nothing left to give. Today, I'm going to walk you through 10 boundaries that can literally save your life. Not in a dramatic way, but in a very real, psychological way. These boundaries protect your mind, your time, your energy, and who you are as a person. And once you learn them, you don't go back. Because here's the truth. People don't ruin your peace. You ruin your own peace when you let everything in without checking who or what deserves to be there. So let's talk about the boundaries that change everything. Before we get into them, I want you to stay with me because I promise that at least one of these will feel like it was written directly for you. And once you hear it, you'll understand why your life has felt so heavy for so long. Let's get into it. You know how people say, just set boundaries? Like it's the easiest thing in the world. But nobody explains how to actually do it, or why it matters so much. So you end up stuck between wanting peace and not wanting to upset anyone. Wanting to rest but still saying yes when your body is begging for a break. Wanting to be understood but feeling guilty for even trying. Most people think boundaries are about keeping people out. But the real purpose of boundaries is this: to keep you from losing yourself. Boundaries are not rules for others. They are reminders for you about what matters, what hurts you, and what keeps you sane. But when you don't set boundaries, your life slowly becomes a place where anyone can walk in, throw their problems at you, drain your time, drain your energy, and walk away without thinking twice. So let's break that pattern. Here are the 10 boundaries that will save your life if you actually use them. 1. The permission boundary. You need to stop apologizing for having needs. Seriously. Every single time you say, sorry, I don't want to be a burden, or sorry, I need a break, or sorry, can we talk later? You give the world the wrong message. You teach people that your needs come last. You teach them that you don't matter as much as they do. You teach them that you will shrink yourself to make space for their comfort. Psychology calls this self-abandonment, when you reject your own needs to earn acceptance from others. The scary thing? You can do this for years and not notice the damage until you're completely drained. Here's what you need to understand. You have permission to take up space. Permission to rest. Permission to say, I want this. Permission to not want something. Permission to be a priority in your own life. If you don't give yourself permission, nobody else will. And remember this. People who get angry when you start valuing yourself are the same people who benefited from you not valuing yourself before. 2. The time boundary. Your time is your life. Not a resource, not a bonus. Your life. When you allow constant interruptions, endless messages, calls at any hour, or people demanding instant replies, you are giving away your life in pieces. You don't owe anyone 24/7 access to you. Accessibility is not availability. You're allowed to mute notifications. You're allowed to say, I'm busy right now. You're allowed to say, I'll get back to you tomorrow. You're allowed to block off hours where you protect your focus like it's gold, because it is. Most stress isn't from doing too much. Most stress comes from never having uninterrupted time to do anything fully. Guard your time. Treat it like something that won't come back, because it won't. 3. The emotional boundary. Here's something you were probably never taught. You are not responsible for other people's feelings. You can care. You can listen. You can support. But you cannot carry someone else's emotional world on your shoulders. Psychology calls this emotional enmeshment, when you think someone else's reaction is your responsibility. You are not their therapist. You are not their emotional sponge. You're allowed to care without fixing. You're allowed to listen without absorbing. You're allowed to say, I'm sorry you feel that way, without making it your job to solve everything. Their reaction belongs to them. Your peace belongs to you. When you stop trying to manage other people's emotions, life becomes lighter in a way you didn't think was possible. 4. The verbal boundary. No is a complete sentence. You don't need a paragraph. You don't need a reason. You don't need to soften it to make someone else feel better. Every time you say yes to something you don't actually want, you say no to something you do need. Your time, your rest, your mental clarity, your emotional well-being. Think about it. How many moments of peace have you lost because you couldn't say a simple no? You have the right to honor your own words. You have the right to speak truthfully instead of politely. You have the right to say, "This doesn't work for me." If someone gets upset because you're honest, it just means they were benefiting from your silence. 5. The energy boundary. Your energy decides the quality of your day, your mood, your decisions, your relationships, basically everything. Energy is a currency. If you spend it on the wrong things, you go broke fast. Rest is not a reward. Rest is survival. You shouldn't wait until you're falling apart to recharge. Low battery is not your natural state. Being tired all the time is not normal. Dragging yourself through every day is not strength. It's burnout. Budget your energy like you would money. Spend it on things that matter. Invest it in people who return it. Save some for yourself, because once your energy is gone, everything else collapses with it. 6. The standards. Boundary. Here's a simple rule. Never accept treatment you wouldn't want for someone you love. If you wouldn't let a friend be talked to like that. If you wouldn't let someone you care about be ignored like that. If you wouldn't let them accept crumbs, disrespect, half-effort, or inconsistency. Then why do you accept it? People show you how they feel by how they treat you. Your standards teach them how to treat you again. And listen closely. Your tolerance becomes their permission. The more excuses you make for bad behavior, the more bad behavior you'll receive. Raise your standards and watch how fast your life changes. 7. The self-care boundary. Self-care is not a luxury. It's not something you do if you have time. It's the foundation of your strength, your clarity, and your sanity, your health, your sleep, your routines, your mental maintenance, your alone time, your hobbies, your recovery. All of it matters. Make yourself a non-negotiable appointment on your calendar. You're allowed to take time for yourself without feeling guilty. You're allowed to refill your own cup without asking for permission. You're allowed to choose yourself even when others don't understand. Self-care is not selfish. Ignoring your needs is. 8. The reciprocity boundary. Relationships are supposed to be two-way. If you're always the one giving, supporting, lifting, listening, helping, fixing, adjusting, and bending. That's not a relationship. That's an energy leak. Psychology shows that one-sided relationships cause resentment, exhaustion, and emotional burnout faster than almost anything else. Ask yourself, does this connection pour into me too? Do they show up for me the way I show up for them? Do I feel seen or just used? You deserve relationships where effort goes both ways, where care is mutual, where support is shared. If the connection only works when you carry it, it's not a connection, it's a burden. Let it go. 9. The identity boundary. Your worth is not based on what you do for others. You are more than how useful you are. You are more than how much you help. You are more than how much you give. Some people lose themselves because they build their entire identity around being needed. And the painful truth is, when people stop needing you, you feel empty. This is why identity boundaries matter. You existed before their needs. You will exist after their approval. You get to have hobbies, dreams, opinions, and goals separate from what you do for others. If you only see yourself through the lens of service, you will disappear the moment people stop asking for something. Build a self that stands even when nobody needs anything from you. 10. The breaking point boundary. Your mind gives you warning signs before you break, but most people ignore them. Resentment, exhaustion, numbness, cynicism, irritation at small things, feeling like you can't care anymore. These are not personality flaws. These are red flags. Your body is begging you to stop before everything collapses. You don't need to wait until you're crying on the bathroom floor. You don't need to wait until you explode on someone. You don't need to wait until you're burned out beyond recovery. Step back before you break. Rest before you crash. Say, I need a pause, before you reach your limit. The world will survive without you for a while. You might not survive if you keep being everything to everyone. Boundaries aren't walls, they're doors. They don't block life out. They let the right things in. They tell people where you end and where they begin. They show what you will accept, what you won't accept, and what matters to you. Without boundaries, you become fuel for other people's fires. With boundaries, you become someone who can finally breathe again.